All right, guys, this is the test review video. There are 20 questions, so I'm not going to make a video of all the questions. Else it would be a very long video. All right, so make sure you know to find the GCF and also the factor with the GCF because you're going to find those on the test. Now, you're given three numbers and you have to find a GCF. All right, so the first thing I want you guys to do is list all the pairs. So let's go with 72. All right, so let's find all the pairs. So it's going to be 1 and 72, 2 and 26, 3 and 24. Again, on a test, use a calculator and divide, right? Divide 72 by 2, 72 by 3. And that's how you're going to, it's like easier for you to find the factors that way. 4 and 18, 6 and 12, and 8 and 9. Okay, so those are all the factors. Let's look at 18 now. We're going to have 1 and 18, 2 and 9, 3 and 6. And I think that's it. And for 90, this is going to be 1 and 90, 2 and 45. Okay, let's rewrite that. 2 and 45, 3 and 30, 5 and 18, 6 and 15, and 9 and 10. I think that's all the factors now. So that's how you do this. Now look carefully and see which factor, right, is the highest number in all three columns. Okay, and so if you look at it, okay, the highest number in for 90, the highest number that appears in all three factors, 18 and 72, is going to be 18. All right, 18 is the highest here, 18 is the highest here, and 18 is the highest here. All right, so just make sure you check thoroughly. Okay, let's look at number two. Okay, and then if you on number two, if you want to pause video and try it on your own first, do that, and then come back and check your answer. Okay, so 28 is going to be 1 and 28, 2 and 14, and 4 and 7. All right. And for 56, it's going to be 1 and 56. Let's see, 2 and 28, yes. 4 and 14 for 460, yes. And 7 and 8, okay? And let's 35 is going to be 1 and 35. And it's 5 and 7. Yeah, that's it. Okay, look at all the factors and see which one is the highest factor in all three. And if you look, that's going to be 7. All right, 7. Okay, so that's that one. All right. Okay, let's go on to let's try number 3. Let's try here. You're given three terms, and you're asked to find the highest common factor. Now remember, for variables, right? You got to make sure that the variable appears in all three terms, and then you pick the one with the lowest exponent. So x appears in all three terms, y appears in all three terms. Now we're going to pick the one with the lowest exponent. For x, right, x squared is the lowest exponent. So I'm going to put a 2 right there. And for y, the lowest exponent for y is 4. So I'll put my 4 right there. So that's how you do that. Okay. Again, look for the one with the lowest exponent. Let's look at number 4. Again, first what we're going to do is look at the coefficient 12, 24, and 18. Let's find the GCF of those coefficients. All right. And then if you're not sure for this one, the lowest coefficient is 6, and we can write it out. For 12, it's going to be 1 and 12. If you're not sure to do this part again, 2 and 6, and 3 and 4. Okay, let's go to 24. So we have 1 and 24, 2 and 12, um, 3 and 8. Yeah, 3 and 8, and um, and 4 and 6. Wow, I'm struggling here. For 18, 1 and 18, 2 and 9, 3 and 6, and that's it. Okay? And so if you look at it now, 6 is your highest common factor for all three coefficients, right? So I'm going to have a 6 there. Now let's look at the variables now. A. Does A appear in all three variables? No. So I'm not going to use A. Let's look at B. Yes, B appears in all three, right? There's a B here, a B here, and a B there. What about C? Yes, C appears in all three. Now let's look at B now. We're going to see what is the lowest exponent for the B's. We have a B square here, a B13, and a B to the 1. So B to the 1, right? That's my lowest exponent. All right. Now let's look at C now. I have a C to the 9th power, a C to the 22nd, and a C to the 7th. So C to the 7th is my lowest exponent. So the 7 goes right there. So that's your factor right there. Okay. Okay. Let's go on to number. Now here they're asking you just like this. They're asking you to find the factor, right? But then you also have to. I'm sorry. They ask to find the GCF. Again, here they're asking you to find the GCF and then factor. All right. So just like here, let me go back again. We're going to find a GCF. Just like here, we'll find a GCF. All right. So the first thing we're going to do now, GCF. Now let's look at all three coefficients, 6, 10, and 6. What is highest common factor between 6 and 10? Think about it for a second. If you want to pause the video, go ahead and pause it. All right. The highest common factor between 6 and 10 is just 2. All right. Now, let's look at the variables now. A is in all three terms, so we're going to put an A there. And B is in all three, so put a B there. So let's find the ones with the lowest exponent. We have an A to the 4th, an A cubed, and an A squared. So 2 is the lowest exponent. Look at the B now. We have B to the 1. So that has to be the lowest exponent. All right, so that's your GCF. Okay. Now, let's factor now. Now, remember, when we factor, we're going to divide each term by the GCF, right? So I'm going to divide 6 A to the 4th B. I'm going to divide that by 2A square B. Okay. Next one is 10A cube B square, and that's divided again by the GCF, 2A square B. And the next one, I'm going to push over into the other, but I'll erase it in a second. 6A square B cube, right? And that's divided by, again, 2A square B, okay? Okay, so all we're going to do now is, we've been doing this a lot. Remember, when we divide, the numbers is regular operation. And then because we're dividing with exponent now, we're going to subtract them, right? 6 divided by 2, a regular operation, right? That's going to be 3. Now we have an A to the 4th divided by an A squared. Again, when we're dividing with exponent, we subtract them, right? So that's going to give me A, and then 4 minus 2 is 2. Notice now, B divided by B is not B, guys. A lot of you guys keep on doing that. The B cancels out. That's just 1. It cancels out. So we can put a 1 there, but we don't have to. Just 3a squared. Next one, 10 divided by 2 is 5. Then we have an A. Let me make this A a lot better. A cubed. A cubed divided by a squared. Again, I'm going to subtract the exponent. That's just a to the 1. All right, a to the 1 right there. And then we have a b squared divided by b to the 1. All right, that's just b right there. All right, so that's b. And then the next one now, 6 divided by 2 is 3. If you notice now, we have an a squared divided by a squared. So that goes away, that cancels out. And then I'm left with a b cubed divided by b to the 1 is just b squared. All right, so that's a factor. And remember, we also, when we're done now, we put it in parentheses. And then normally I'm going to try squeeze the 2a squared, 2a squared b right there. Okay, so that's number 5. I'm going to do number 6. So I'm going to erase this now to get more space to do number 6. Okay, so let me erase this and do number 6. All right, number 6. Look at number 6. Okay, let's find a GCF now. Again, look at all the coefficients: 25, 40, and 35. All right. You can pause the video and try find the highest common factor. Okay, that is 5. So 5 is the highest common factor. And then let's look at the x's. I have x in all 3 terms, so I'm going to put an x there. And I want the x with the lowest exponent, and that's x to the 1. So I'm going to have an x to the 1 right there. So that's my GCF. Now, to find the factor, now I got to divide each term by the factor. Remember, you got to divide each term by the factor. So I'm going to have 25 x cubed divided by 5x minus 40 x squared divided by 5x, and then negative 35x divided by 5x. All right. Again, with the coefficient, guys, the regular numbers, it's just regular operation. Okay. So 25 divided by 5 is just 5. And then we have an x cubed divided by x1. Again, we subtract the exponents. That's going to give me x squared minus 40 divided by 5 is 8. And then x squared divided by x to the 1 is just x, because 2 minus 1 is just 1. And then for the last one, 35 divided by 5 is, is 7. Is 7. And the x cancels out. So I'm just leaving it with 7. So, and then my answer is, you put it in parentheses and put the GCF next to it, 5x. So that's your answer right there. Okay, that's number 6. All right, let's move on here. Okay, I'm gonna let you try this one on your own. I'm gonna give you the answer, right? And you can pause and figure it out. The answer for this one is the GCF is just 9x squared y squared. All right. Go ahead and you can pause the video and try finding GCF. Again, pause the video and try find the factor. And the factor is just going to be 9x squared y squared. Okay. And then I'm going to have x squared plus 2y squared minus 3xy. Okay. I hope I didn't make a mistake on that, but that's the answer right there. And then this is a 12. All right, it got cut off. That's a 12 right there. And it's a 17. Okay. Okay. On this one, okay, we have a in both terms. So I'm going to have an a right there because it's in both terms. And then I want to put the lowest exponent, which is 12. So that's my GCF right there. And then my factor is, again, pause the video and try this on your own. Okay, come back. My factor is going to be just a to the 12 divided by a to the 12. Remember, you divide each term by the factor, and a to the 17 divided by a to the 12. All right, so that's going to give me, that cancels out, that just gives me 1 right there, plus a to the 17 divided by a to the 12 is a to the 5. So that's the factor, and then you put the GCF next to it, which is a to the 12. All right, good. Make sure you understand those GCF and factors. That's going to be on the test. Okay, let's do some factoring now, which are trinomial, our quadratic equation. Okay, again, by now you should be pretty good on the X box method. All right. Draw my box, and then again, I'm gonna fill in my box first. X squared goes, I'm sorry, I want to use a different color. In fact, let me just use black, and then, okay. Okay, that goes there, that goes there, that goes there. That's my box, and then fill in my box now. I'm gonna have X squared here, and then 32 there. And so remember now, I've got to find these. I got to find. I got to find these two spots right here. All right. I got to find here and here, and to find those two those two boxes, I got to find the numbers here and here to fill it in. Okay. So let's see how we're going to do that. Now remember now, the top number, right? Always multiply the coefficient of x squared, which is 1 times 32, and that gives me 32. And the bottom number is always the middle term, negative 12. And so we need two numbers now. When we add them, gives me negative 12, but when I multiply them, gives me gives me 32. All right. And if you're not sure, just list the factors of 32. I'm not going to do it here, but list all the factors of 32, 1 and 32, just keep on going down. And that's going to give you negative 8 and negative 4. So this is going to be negative 8x and negative 4x. Okay. And so if we look at and this, by now you should know to do this part right here. But if you look at the first row, right, the common factor for the first row is just x. All right, it's just x. And then if you look at the column now, all right, okay, that common factor right there is just x. All right. And then what number times x gives me negative 4? That's negative 4x. I'm sorry, negative 4. And what times x gives me negative 8x? That's negative 8. So my factors are x minus 4. I'm sorry. Did I make a mistake somewhere? Okay, that's correct. X minus 4 and x minus 8. Okay. So next one. One second, guys. I got to make a correction on this. This should be negative. Okay. All right. So on this one now, again, let's do the X box method. And I'm not going to do all of these because they're pretty much the same. Okay. Okay, so we're going to have x squared here. Oh, give me a second. I just like to be consistent sometimes with my stuff. X squared. Get my x right there on my box. Okay, that goes. And so in the box now, I'm going to have x squared as my first term and then 36. All right, so we need to find these two. So the top number is going to be 36. Remember now, it's going to be 1 times 36, and the bottom is going to be 13. And so two numbers now, when I add them, that gives me 13, but when I multiply them, it gives me 36. And you can pause the video and try to figure it out, but that's going to be 4 and 9. Okay, so I'm going to have 4x and 9x. And by now, if you see x here, you know it's going to be x and x, all right? It's just a shortcut right there. And then what time x gives me 9x? It's just 9. What time x gives me 4x? That's just 4. And so my factors are x plus 9 and x plus 4. All right? Okay. I'm going to skip number 11. That's the same. I'm going to do number 12. Okay? Let's do number 12. And for number 11, you can pause the video and try to work it out. But the answer for number 11 is x minus 4 and x plus 6. Okay, you can work it out. Number 12 now. Let's work number 12. Number 12 is very interesting. Number 12. Okay. Good. All right. So 24 goes there, and my top box gets x squared. All right, so and then for my diamond now, the top number is 1 times 24. Remember, there's a 1 right here. That gives me 24. And this number is negative 23. All right, so ask yourself now, what two numbers, when I add them, gives me negative 23, but when I multiply them, gives me 24. Okay, think about it. All right. Pause video and think about it. All right, so let's see. This one is challenging. Let's see. 1 and 24 are the factors. And we have 2 and 12, 3 and 8, and 4 and 6. Okay, what pair, all right, when I add them, gives me negative 23? Okay, and you can look at it. It's not going to be 4 and 6. All right, it's not going to be 3 and 8. That's going to give me 11 right there. 2 and 12, if I add those two, no. Let's see, if I make this negative, right, and this is, when I add these two, I get negative 23, but when I multiply, it's going to give me a negative 24, but I want a positive 24, all right? Okay, you can look at it still, but in this case, there's no solution. No solution. All right. So for this one, there's no real solution. No real solution for this one. Okay. Because there are no pairs that will give you negative 23 when you add them, and then positive 24 when you add them. All right. So that's no real solution. All right. Let's see, which one should I do? Okay, let's do number 14 because it has the negative coefficient, right? Again, remember in class we talked about negative coefficient, the leading coefficient. It has to be positive, right? So we got to factor out that negative 1. So remember, you will see this on the test. You got to factor out the negative 1, and you do that by negative 1, put a parentheses, and then change all the signs on the quadratic equation, right? So we're going to have 4n squared plus, see, I'm changing all the signs, plus 16n plus 15. All right? So this is the equation I'm going to use now. I'm not going to use this one anymore. So I'm going to draw my x box. Okay. All right. And so in my box now, I'm going to have 4n squared. See that? 4n squared, because I'm using this equation now. And the bottom box is going to be 15. And so to find these two boxes now, let's go over to the diamond. 4 times 15. Remember, it's going to give me 60. That goes on top. And the 16 in the middle goes to the bottom. Okay, so we need to find two numbers. When we add them, it gives me 16, and when we multiply them, it gives me 60. Think about it, pause the video and think about it, list all the factors, but you'll get 10 and 6. Okay, so this becomes 10n and 6n. All right. And so we're going to look at the first row. Look at the first row. I need to find my common factor right there. Okay, so let's look at it. I have a 4 and a 6. The highest common factor between 4 and 6, all right, the highest common factor is 2. 2 is the highest number I can divide into 4 and 6. So that gives me 2. And then for n squared and n, the highest common factor is n. And then if you notice now, if this is 2n, I want to get 4n squared, right? So that's going to be 2n up here. Another short way of doing it, 2n. And so I got my corners filled out. Now what times 2n gives me 6n? That is 3. And what times this 2n gives me 10n? That is 5. All right, so my answer now is going to be -1. Don't forget this -1 right there. -1, and then in parentheses, 2n plus 3 and 2n plus 5. Okay, so that is your answer right there. Oops, that's like a 7 right there. Plus 5. All right. All righty. So that's the negative. Are there any more negative? No, there are no more negatives right here. The rest I think you guys can do. Now, number 17 is the special product, right? Again, these you will see on the, you're going to see a couple of these on the number 17. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, number 17. You're going to see a couple of these on the test. Very simple, guys. All right. Remember, all right, these are the form a squared minus b squared. That's the form, and that's equal to, right? In fact, let me do it up here so I have more space. I'll do it down here. This special form of the polynomial is of the form a squared. Oops, come on. Is of the form a squared minus b squared, right? And that is equal to a minus b times a plus b. All right. So if you look at it now, the first term is a perfect square, and the last term is a perfect square, right? So if I take the square root of 64, what do I get? That is 8. So that's going to be my b term, right? That's going to be my b term right there, right? That's going to be my b right there. And then if I take the square root of x squared, okay, let me get some more space. I got an entire board and I'm writing all the way in the corner. Again, let's do this. The square root of x squared is going to give me x. And that is my a term right here. That's my a right there. And then the square root of 64 is 8. And that's my b right there. See that? So all we got to do now is, so this is going to be my answer right here. Okay. So all I'm going to do is this now. I'm going to have, right, my a is x, right? And my b is 8 minus 8. So that's one factor. And the other one is a plus sign, x plus 8. All right. So x squared minus 64, that's the answer when you factor it out. Okay. And then for this one, on number 18, again, if you look at it, the last number, 81, that is a perfect square. if I take the square root of 81, I get 9. And the first term, if I take the square root of 36, right, that is 6. And the square root of a squared is a. All right, so 6a. So I know this is 6a. All right, and so the 9 is my b. All right, the 9 is my b, and the 6a is just my a. And so remember now, it's a squared minus b squared is equal to a minus b times a plus b. Okay, and so my a is my 6a. Right, so a is my 6a. My b is 9. So that's one factor. Come again now. My a is 6a, but this time it's going to be a plus, and my b is 9. All right. Just make sure. I'm going to post a video on this in Canvas again. I think a short video. Just make sure you understand this. And then the next one. Okay, let's try factor this polynomial. Okay, if I was going to use the Xbox method. Okay, let's see. Look how crazy it's going to be. Y squared goes here, and 144 goes there. Okay, and so in the box up here now, I'll have 1 times 144, which is 144, and the bottom number is 24. Now, tell me, that's a big number to work with, right? 144 and 24. Ooh. But luckily, there's a shorter way of doing this. All right, this is another special product. Okay, so whenever you look at this, the last term, which is 144. That is a perfect square. Okay, so let me erase this now. So I wouldn't want to try find the factors of 144 when I add them gives me 24 and multiply them. Ooh, that's a lot of work. But there's a shorter way of doing this, a very shorter way of doing this. Look at this. Okay, the square root of 44, the square root of 144 is 12. All right, now look at this. Look at the middle term, 24. If I divide 24 by 2, what do I get? 12, right? 12 and 12. So whenever you have a quadratic equation where you take the square root of the last term and you get 12, and you divide the middle term by 2 and get the same, right? There's a short way of writing this. The factors then becomes y plus 12 times y plus 12. Okay, that's it. You can shorten it as y plus 12 squared. Okay. Now look at the other one here. Again, this is a perfect square. All right. So if I take the square root of 49, what do I get? 7. Well, look at this now. If I divide 14 by 2, what do I get? 7. All right. So this is just like number 19. The only difference is there's a plus sign here, and here's a negative sign. So my answer is going to be y and 7, all right? Those are the factors, y and 7. But all I'm going to do now is put a negative sign there. So here we had a plus sign, but a plus sign because it was a plus 24. And so my answer is just y minus 7 squared. All right, we'll go more in class. So those are the special products. All right, guys. Hey, that's the video right there. That's review. I'm going to post also the review note sheet on Canvas, right? So I think you guys should have enough material to help you on Friday and over the weekend. I'll see you guys back on Monday, okay?